In this video, I will go through the penalties, kicks and scrum stats of the Australia vs Springboks second game in Perth. You will see what it looks like in a similar way as the kick to goal maps and what time the plays happened. Let's get straight into it. The Wallabies conceded a total of 10 penalties, 3 in the first half and 7 in the second half. 22 points were scored by the Springboks from penalties on the night, and it shows just where Australia conceded these penalties. Out of the 3 penalties conceded in the first half, 2 were in their own red zone. The Springboks opted to kick at goal for both these penalties, handing the Springboks 6 points in the first half for ill discipline in the wrong area of the field. In the second half, the Wallabies conceded 7 penalties, which led to 3 tries and a yellow card. 4 out of the 7 penalties conceded in the second half were again in the Wallabies' own red zone. Only 2 out of the 7 penalties conceded by the Wallabies were in the Springbok half. I'm sure the New Zealand coaching team will be looking at this. You cannot concede penalties in the wrong area of the field. 3 players for Australia conceded multiple penalties. The Springboks conceded a total of 10 penalties, split right down the middle, 5 penalties conceded in each half. Out of the 5 penalties conceded in the first half, 1 was on the 22-meter line in the red zone of the Springboks, and the Springboks conceded another 3 in their own half, making it kickable kicks, and the Springboks handed the Wallabies 9 points from ill discipline. It could have been 12 points and a first half lead for the Wallabies if Lolesio didn't miss his kick just before halftime. In the second half, the Springboks conceded only 1 penalty in the red zone. By then, the Wallabies were 12-23 down and kicked the ball to the corner and could not convert an entry into the opposition's 22 to points. Only one player, Ruan Orkia, conceded more than 1 penalty for the Springboks. Before we move on to the kicks and scrum section, if you enjoyed this video so far, please give it a thumbs up by smashing that like button. The idea of the video came from a comment I received on the channel by Steve Smith 5066. Thank you for the comment, Steve. If you have a comment of your own and would like to see stats that's never been presented before, please leave a comment down in the comment section below. If I can do it, I will. Please also consider subscribing to the channel if you're looking for more rugby content. Moving on to the kicks of the match. The Wallabies had 32 kicks in play for the match. You can see a clear change in tactics if you compare the first and second half with one another. In the first half, majority of the kicks came from Nick White and Noah Lolesio. The Wallabies kicked the ball out 8 times in the first half. Nick White himself kicked the ball out 5 times, which makes it easier for the Springboks to set up their defensive structure, knowing if Nick has the ball and is looking to kick, he will probably kick it out. In the second half, the Wallabies came to play, kicking the ball 15 times, but this time a third of the kicks came in the Springboks half. Always chasing the game, they kicked the ball out only 3 times. This also might be due to bad weather and rain they experienced on the night. Kicking the ball in play more might cause the opposition to make unforced errors. In the first half, the Springboks kicked 11 times. 4 kicks were to get out of their own danger zone. In the second half, the Springboks kicked 16 times, with the majority of the kicks coming from their own half to get out of their own red zone in order to play rugby in the correct parts of the field. And one was an almost brilliant 50-22 kick from Cheslin Colby in his own 22 meters. Unfortunately, the ball was passed back into the Springboks red zone, giving the Wallabies a line-out ball in the danger zone. The Springboks only made 2 kicks in the Wallabies half, 1 crossfield kick from Andre Pollard to Pieter Steptoe, and another grubber from Lukanya With an advantage in the bag, kicked a grubber through for Jesse to chase, just falling short. Moving on to the scrums. What a disappointing second half with uncontested scrums. This game saw 16 scrums in total, with 7 being uncontested. I'm sure the Springboks forward pack and the bomb squad were extremely disappointed with the uncontested scrums. Australia had 12 scrums in total. This just shows how many handling errors the Springboks had, with 7 scrums in the first half and 5 uncontested scrums in the second. The Springboks had 3 possible scoring opportunities, with Johan Grobler not throwing the ball in straight at line-out time, Sasha knocking on the ball after Cheslin made a brilliant clean break, and Mapimpi knocking on the ball from a great tackle by Tom Wright, all giving Australia a scrum ball. The Wallabies only had 4 handling errors, which gave the Springboks 2 scrums in the first half and another 2 uncontested scrums in the second. The Springboks had 1 scrum in the Wallaby red zone, which gave the Springboks opportunity to go to their strengths and scrum for a penalty. This was the only scrum penalty of the day. For the 2 up-and-coming tests, the All Blacks will have to be on top of their discipline game. You cannot give away penalties in the wrong parts of the field to the Springbok team and not concede points. From a Springboks point, 12 handling errors, although it rained heavily, is just too much against an equally impressive forward pack like the All Blacks. The forwards will use massive amounts of energy if the handling errors aren't curbed to a minimum. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps with the algorithm and spreading the video to more people. Please also consider subscribing to the channel to get notified when the next video drops. And I will see you in the next one.